Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Toby's Talk Show, and today we are back with another episode. And thanks to Joseph Watson's comment, I will be talking about the Knicks today. So, if you guys checked out the first episode from yesterday, I talked about the Warriors. And when I posted my Knicks Raptors review, Joseph commented down below asking me what my thoughts were about the Knicks. Uh, and I think I'd be a perfect guy to talk about the Knicks and what I think about, their team and their future because I watch every Knick game. As you guys may know, I am a huge Knick fan, and so I basically know the ins and outs of the franchise, the organization. Obviously, I know the owner. I think everyone knows the owner, James Dolan. The general management, the team, whatever, etc. So let's jump right into it. He asked a lot of questions, so I'll kind of go for it one by one. I mean, it was kind of just like, what do you think about the future? What should you do with Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina? How do you build around the core but still be competitive? And I'll cover all those in this video. So the first thing is let's talk about the Knicks this season. So the Knicks, they were expected by a lot, basically everyone, to be a bottom five team this year in the NBA once again for like the seventh, eighth straight year in the league. The Knicks, they didn't really do much in the offseason. They kept most of their team. They brought back some of the guys from last year, like Gibson and Payton. They obviously have Randall. They're letting RJ Mitch develop. They drafted Obi and quickly. Still have Frank and Knox, seeing if they could pan out to anything. And they signed some, lower level free agent guys, under the radar guys like Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel. And yeah, obviously they also brought back Reggie Bullock. I can't really pinpoint why the Knicks are as good as they are. I mean, I could give you a reason, but I think the reason doesn't do it enough justice to see how improved this Knicks team is. Obviously, the first thing people think of is Julius Randle and how he's improved so much this year and how he should probably be the most improved player. Julius Randle better as a passer, defender, shooter this year. The three biggest negatives of the game last year, he's turned into complete positives. Shortened the turnovers, has better shooting percentages, has less turnovers. Really everything about his game that you didn't like, it got so much better, and everything you liked got even better. And he's just become, an all-star this year, as you guys all know, and it's really amazing to see his improvement. A lot of it, I don't want to say a lot of it, obviously a lot of it was his own effort, but I'm sure you could credit a lot of it and credit a lot of the Knicks' success this year to also Tom Thibodeau. Defensive-minded coach. We know that when he comes into a franchise, he makes them better. Thibodeau's negatives are he plays players too much. His rotations are kind of short and strict. And that's really it. And sometimes, obviously, if you don't like people getting texts, even though I like the energy, I'd rather give up a text if the players wake up because of it. He could obviously get a little angry. But, that hasn't been a problem with the Knicks. He's pushed, it seems at least, obviously I'm not there at practice every day and I'm not there behind the scenes, but he's pushing every player. He's completely changed our defense, and most importantly, the energy on the team is just different. Everyone cares. There's a photo the other day. It was the Knicks-Celtics game taken 5 seconds apart. There was 30 seconds left. Knicks-Celtics tie game, I believe, and every Knicks player was standing up and every Celtics player was sitting down on the bench. And so it's exciting to see, this team cares. They want to win, and they don't only want to win for themselves, but for each other. And I think that's what Thibodeau has created, this culture. The Knicks in the future are interesting because, the Knicks are probably going to, end up as a 7th, 8th, 9th seed, maybe win a playoff, play in-game, make the playoffs, probably lose in the first round, 90% chance losing the first round. But, as a Knicks fan, that's a W, man. I mean, I was expecting to be a bottom team in the East once again. A lot of people were, like I said. And to see just the improvement of everyone, quickly was one of the steals of the draft. RJ has completely changed his game for the better, just like Randall is such a good shooter now. And is just getting better in every facet as a 20-year-old sophomore who's only getting better and better, averaging 18 on 38% from three. Randall, like I said, has improved greatly. Burks and Noel has been huge assets. Bullock is cashing in from three. And everyone's just really shooting better. There's a little bit more talent, but overall I just think it's more of a community. Let's go to Joseph's comment about Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina. Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, obviously both drafted back-to-back years, I believe. So, yeah, Ntilikina was 17. I think Knox was 18. And they were both lottery picks that haven't worked out. there are positives to each of their games. Like Ntilikina, amazing defender, doesn't have the offensive game, and Knox is a great shooter, but doesn't really have anything else. And every year you see improvements from them, but it's not enough improvement to get excited about it. I think the Knicks do value Frank Ntilikina over Knox because he already has such a big part of his game ready, which is his defense. That's half the game, and it's really, really solid. I wouldn't be surprised that the Knicks shopped Kevin Knox during the trade deadline. No really news on any trade, but it seems like the Knicks are ready to move on, and I'm sure they will somewhat soon. Kevin Knox will have an option, I think, next summer, and so I think the Knicks will try to move him before that, so they don't have to pay him or deal with that option. And I think with Frank Ntilikina, it's different because he's a year older. He has his option this year. I'm guessing he might take it, but then he'll become a restricted free agent. Teams will want to pay him. So my guess is that we'll let him go and just move on with the core we have, which is the Quickly, Mitch, RJ, Randall. I guess you include Obi Toppin in that. So that's the young core. And kind of, going back to Joseph's comment about what I think the Knicks should do in the future, I think you should look at the point guard position because and obviously the Knicks traded for Derrick Rose throughout the season, which was a big upgrade there. But I think overall the Knicks need to focus on point guard, and that obviously should come in free agency with Lonzo Ball. Obviously he's restricted, but it doesn't seem like the Pelicans want to bring him back, and it seems like he's interested in the Knicks and the Bulls. So hopefully the Knicks could outbid the Bulls for Lonzo because I think he's a perfect player. He could find his own shot, but he looks for others, and that's what we kind of need. We haven't had a solid / above average point guard since Raymond Felton, and then back before that Stephon Marbury. So we haven't had great point guard play in the last 2 decades, and I think that's one of the biggest upgrades we need. The Knicks aren't going to become what the Nets, Lakers, and Clippers were, these past few years, where it's like, all right, the Knicks finally built a culture, right? They're winning games. They have a core. They have a great front office that a lot of people love because of the connections. And James Dolan's not getting in the way. So you have this culture set, and now players are now actually interested in coming. But the issue, of course, this summer, it happens with the Knicks every year. Happened with Zion Williamson. They changed the lottery odds then. This year, the Knicks are finally good, and the play-in has to happen this year, like a bigger one. And then, this offseason, there's not that many great free agents. So the Knicks aren't going to become, they're not going to get Kawhi. They're not going to get a Kawhi-type player this offseason, right? Because Kawhi's really the only superstar left, and he's probably going back to LA. So you're going to have to keep building through the draft. Try to, the Knicks are going to be able to, they have the cap. So they're going to be able to sign people, but not the people you want to elevate your team to championship level. So it's going to be interesting to see, how are they going to use that cap in this offseason? Sign Lonzo maybe, sign a few other nice pieces, try to retain Burks and Noel. And really, if a superstar requests a trade, which, at least one does basically every offseason, try to snag him because you're at a point now where, all right, you have this core, but now you're ready to be elevated to the next level of, all right, you're a top 4 team in the East. You're a contender now for that championship. But the Knicks do need another star next to Randall so that RJ could be the third guy dominating to, elevate that. Unless RJ Barrett just continues to get better and just becomes a star, like a solidified star next year. So yeah, guys, that's really it. Just wanted to give my thoughts on the Knicks. This is one of my longer videos in a minute. But you know me, I love my Knicks. I'll talk about them forever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Joseph, I hope you enjoyed this video specifically since you did give me the comment. Thank you so much. And yeah, guys, if you guys liked it, please feel free to subscribe, like the video, give a comment on a team you'd like to see next me talk about. And yeah, guys, have a great rest of your day. Knicks looking good. Have a core. Have 2 first-round picks this year, ours and the Mavericks unprotected. So 2 probably, picks in like the 18 to 20 range. And $50 million in cap. So we're looking great. I'm excited. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Bye, guys. Voice crack. Wow.